Hello, YouTube. This is Luke Von Karma here, and this is the first time I've ever tried to do one of these deck profiles, but I'm here with Aki, aka Depp, from the Yu-Gi-Oh community. If you've ever heard of them, Aki has done very well in multiple CSMs with their Dragon Link plays, but today I'm here to talk about Aki's top 16 at Greek Nationals with p.u.n.k Therion, which I love. I think the p.u.n.k deck is sick. The Therion engine is also really sick. It combos so well with the p.u.n.ks. Aki, I wanted to give you a bit of an intro. Why don't you shout yourself out? If you want to shout out anybody, go ahead. Feel free.
So, hello, my name is Aki, or also known as Depp, also known as Charalampos Chatzistavrou. I will probably go by Aki to not mess up the pronunciation or something.
Thank you.
This is kind of simpler, but yeah, I managed to play this deck that came out just in the recent main set Dimension Force, and that combined both the p.u.n.k and the Therion archetype. I think it's a really fun deck. I would not really call it one of the best decks of the meta, but definitely unexpected, and it packs a lot of power. And the end board is quite honestly, it's quite unbeatable, honestly.
Sick, yeah.
As far as
No, the deck seems crazy.
I will get to the main endboard of the deck a bit later, but for now I wanna really gonna give a shout out to the MBT community, because they really helped me fine tune the ratios of the deck and settle on some important tech choices that really helped me out secure the top. Secure the top, and I wanna shout out my friend who got top 8 in the same event with Sorcel, who lent me his droplets. That they came kinda clutch. I don't think they're necessary, but they helped. They did the job. And of course, my friends who lent me the token collectors, who are really relevant in a format where Sorcel is king.
Sick.
Thanks, that's everyone. Yeah.
Awesome.
Also, thank you to Danny for allowing me to do my deck profile on his channel. It's really an honor.
Of course. Too nice. Alrighty. So why don't we jump straight into the deck breakdown?
Sure. This is my main deck. I play 41 cards, and it's basically dissected onto two main parts, and then the deck choices. I will start with the p.u.n.ks. I play 3 Xiamin, which is the searcher. I guess you can call it the stratus of the deck. It gets you any p.u.n.k name by paying 600 life points, and here's also another effect when it goes to graveyard to pump up a p.u.n.k monster by 600 attack, which isn't very relevant, but can be used to chain block very rarely. It doesn't here to keep in mind. Then we have 3 Ogre Dance, which is essentially a rota for the archetype. It has 3 effects. The first isn't very relevant, just against attack when an opponent uses a monster effect, which it never came up, honestly.
Right.
The second effect is to tribute a p.u.n.k monster and special summon from the hand. It's a level 8. It can come up when it's synchro summoning, or exil summoning. So it is kind of relevant, but it's very corner case. And of course, the most relevant effect is the last one, where you set it from the graveyard to search any non-nate p.u.n.k monster, such as Xiamin. Then we have another really good p.u.n.k card, which is Foxytune. This is like Ogre Dance, where you pitch it for cost to activate the effect, but instead of searching, it summons a non-nate p.u.n.k from the deck on the field. So it has so you must pitch to compensate for that. You must pitch another card from your hand or resolution. There is another effect you can, if you run over a monster, you can gain the life points equal to the attack of the monster you destroyed, which with Ogre doesn't come up as well very often. And also, if you tribute the monster, you can summon it as well. Also, very common case. Next, I play 3 Emerge Teleport, which is essentially a better rot of the archetype, Samo Zeamin, or this card, which is Sarakusai. I probably butchered the pronunciation, which is a part of the punk combos, or an extender to help you play through negation. Lastly, we have Punk Dear Note, which is essentially the piece that ties the whole engine together. It enables you to make your main synchro boss, which is Chaos Ruler, and essentially start your plays and really combine the engine of Therion with the Punk. So real quick, what the Sarakusai does is you can he has two effects. One, the first effect on your turn, you can pay 600 life points and you can fuse a summon using punks on the field or your HUD to summon Rising Carp, which is essentially a rescue rabbit for two punk monsters that are not 8.
Crazy.
So you most usually you summon Zeamin and Dear Note, so you can go into your synchro 8 play and go from there. Dear Note has two effects. It is kind of a brick, but it doesn't have to draw it if you have a few more punk names. You can reveal another punk name, send either this or the punk name to the graveyard and summon the other. 99% of the time you summon this. Then when it goes from the field to the graveyard, you can target and reborn any punk monster in your graveyard. The fact that it's level 5 it comes up really often. Also, forgot to mention, Sarakusai has another effect on your opponent's turn. You can pay 600 to quick effect synchro summon into a punk synchro monster, which I play one. Well, there's only one out for now at least. Amazing Dragon, which is some form of interruption that rarely comes up. So how do the punk how does the punk edge work? Essentially, you use normal summon Zeamin, or you emerge teleport it, or you search it with Ogre Dance. There are really multiple ways to get it. This is why the deck is very consistent. And then you search Foxtune, then you send Foxtune and one other card from your hand to the graveyard, and you summon Dear Note, and you go to Chaos Rule, reborn either Zeamin or a level 8, depending on the contents of your hand, to continue your place. And another line of play is the Foxtune into Zeamin line, where you start with Foxtune, sending another card from your hand to the graveyard, summon the Zeamin. Then with Zeamin, you search Sarakusai. You may go through Ogre Dance in the middle while doing the combo to get back in the graveyard. But essentially, you search Sarakusai, you normal summon is, and then you fuse a summon, and then you go into Dear Note and Zeamin by making the Rising Carp. It's kind of confusing, but essentially playing this card enables a Foxtune to be a one card starter. Well, 1.5 because you have to discard. But it's a starter. You don't really mind discarding in this deck. Next, I will talk about the Therions. I play 3 Lily, 2 Regulus, 1 Yule, 1 Fum from the monsters. Lily has the effect to send one card from the field to the graveyard to search a Therion spell trap. My targets are Colosseum, Charge, and one card in the side deck. I will go through that later. Regulus, which is an effect negate, which is very relevant apparently. Doesn't negate activations, doesn't destroy, just negates an effect. This is very ruling relevant, and you should pay attention to that if you ever face it, because it will come up. Yule protects your Therions if a monster is if you have a equip card on your field from card destruction, and also Fum is there to help to have a extra disruption on your opponent's turn. As it targets one Therion card on your spell trap zone and one card on your opponent controls on the turn, bounce them. it's a disruption. There is also one card that don't play, which is Bull. That's card not a bad card, but it mostly comes up during your own. The effect is very relevant on your own turn, and it helps clear the board. But I have enough tools here in my deck that don't think I need it. The main Therion gimmick is that you can equip either another Therion or one of their type, plant, warrior, or machine, psychic, or an aqua to summon themselves, equipping the target monster in the graveyard. If they equip one Therion monster, they gain 700 attack and that monster's effect. That's basically from what the monsters do. Yeah, you play 3 this Colosseum. This on activation searches any p.u.n.k monster, any Therion monster, and it has 2 very relevant battle phase effects. When a monster Yugioh will be destroyed by battle, you can send either a Therion or an Yugioh system from your deck to the grave to protect it. Essentially like a Balings, but just for battle. If a monster is destroyed, you can activate the effect, which says that you can target one Therion in your graveyard to add it back to your hand. So essentially, if your opponent ever goes to battle phase to threaten your board, you can just plus off it and don't even bother. There were many cases where this came up because your opponent didn't pay enough attention. This might hinder the deck's ability going forward because the less you know about it, the more of a threat it is, but still an insane card. Also, it is your main target from really, search target for really, because it's just another monster. Next, you have 2 Therion charge. You play 1, you can play 2. Play 2 because I think boosts consistency. This card sends one Therion card from your hand or face up from the spell trap zone to the graveyard and draws 2 cards. It's fine. You search mostly when you already have the field spell access, or you can start with it because it easily gets a Therion name in the graveyard. Lastly, we have 3 Endless Engine Yugioh system, which is a Foolish Burial for the archetype, and has another really powerful effect. If this card is in graveyard, you can target one other Therion card on resolution. Put either this or the other Therion card in the hand, and the other card to the bottom of the deck.
Crazy.
This enables endless recursion and probably helps the deck grind really easily. Also, never came up, but because the card is relevant, this can doesn't exactly outmine, but it can assure you that you will never deck out due to mine unless they have 3 DD Crow, and they must find all 3 of them, which I think it's much more unlikely. So yeah, you're not losing to mine, so they must kill you. Finally, we have one Jet Synchron, which is a part of the combo. Really glad that this guy came up. I tried Plague Spreader Zombie, but wasn't as good or as powerful. And this is an insane card. Lastly, we have the tech choices I run. 3 Gamma on driver. I mean, you have to run the driver.
Pretty standard.
If you draw it, cry about it. You cannot do much about it. But Gamma is insane. I think Droll is a really good card this format. As hurts your if you start with Foxytune, as is really Foxytune is stock point, so stopping the As is insane. Like if you ever stop a hand trap on your own turn with Gamma, you essentially won. You plus off your opponent's mistake. I even keep it in the main most of the times because I really do not want to get hand trap on some choke points. And also it's just a negate and distraction is insane ability. So this helps going. It's a very impactful card going second. Also, it's a psychic for emergency teleport if you ever run out of targets. Then we have 3 As, the most generic and one of the more impactful hand format. Stops for the fusion, which is the most powerful card on the format. And it really makes the branded matchup that much easier. Lastly, we have one called by the grave. You wanna sometimes you cannot play through all the hand traps, so you must negate some of them. And lastly, we have 3 droplets. I don't have any of them on my person at the moment. Shout out to the social player who lent me his droplets. I don't think the card is necessary, but it's really helpful because when you're going second, you can dump one Therion name in the graveyard, so you can enable the other names, the remaining names in your hand to make plays. Also, it's good going first because you can just set it. That's it for the main 41 cards. Sorry, that was kind of long. For the extra deck. Funnily enough, this deck plays through all the extra deck summoning mechanics. And we start off with fusion. This is part of one of the main combo lines of the deck. Rising Carp has 2 effects. The second effect is when you use a synchro material, never comes up, never. But the first effect, you tribute this card, summon 2 non-nate p.u.n.k monsters from the deck. You must usually summon Diarnot as a mean, and then you go into this guy, Chaos Ruler. This card makes the deck go around.
Yep, not much to say about Chaos Ruler.
Actually,
well, there's a lot to say about it, but you know.
Yeah. Long story short, it mills Therion names to the graveyard to enable the ones in your hand to enable the ones in your hand. It can add either Foxytune or Ogre Dance or a Gamma to have card fodder, and also main part of the combo because it enables a really sane card that really sane end boss that this deck alone can access. So Formula Synchron, this will be relevant when I discuss Hulk. Hot Red, this card comes up when you synchro summon Chaos Ruler with a Jet. Barone is not part of the main end board, but you can easily go into this with either Gamma and level 8 Therion, Gamma and Chaos Ruler, like essentially Gamma and level 8 or Formula and level 8 during your opponent's turn. I will not cut it. It comes up a lot. This is Psychic Punisher. I like to call it Pep. This card is insane. It's a really specific towers, but it's specific enough that Despia has a really hard time outing it. This makes the Despia matchup that much easier going second, because if you make this, they cannot really respond. Have a way to deal with it. Especially if they have Masquerade, you discard main effect. If you are lower, there is a difference in your life points between you and your opponent, this card gains attack due to equal to the difference. So let's say, for example, your opponent has a Masquerade, and you just burn through your own life points. You reach 800 life points. You use the effect on the start of the battle phase to gain attack. You burn your last 600 life points, and this card is now at 11,300 attack points, which can attack over any branded monster in attack position and OTK. When it comes up, it comes up. Next, we have the Amazing Dragon, another level 11. This card has 2 effects. You can only activate one of them per turn, but on summon, you can bounce up to two monsters, 2 cards your opponent controls, depending on the amount of level 3 psychics you have in your graveyard on your field. You usually have Zeamin 1, or if you go through, if you dig through your deck enough, you have 2 with Sarakusai, and it's a 3,000 body, so you can enable lethal with it, or you can just disrupt your opponent with single summoning with Sarakusai on your monster. Also, this card can just revive any punk monster in your graveyard, like the Foxytune or the Ogre Dance or the Zeamin, to either help you make more plays or just give more attack points for lethal. Finally, for the synchro lineup, we have Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. this card. So you remember VFD. That card is his cousin. They have the same name kinda. If this card drops, your opponent cannot respond to its effect, and its effect is that they cannot activate any card or they cannot activate cards for the turn. You summon this your opponent's turn with Formula Synchron, Hot Red, and Jet Synchron, and they cannot do anything. This is essentially pass. Granted, it's not enough to kill your opponent, but it's enough to make the pass. And with this amount of follow-up you have gathered during your first turn, you can just kill them and secure a very easy victory. Next, for the synchros, we have number 38. If you have enough level edge on the board, you can make this card. Mine is a big threat to your board because you don't really have a convincing out on your main end board. It's a good card to have. Also good 10-3 when you have enough bodies in your possession to grind through. It's another disruption you can put up. Zombie Vampire, it's kind of part of the combo. It's more like it's there for when you don't really have a way to get dark in the graveyard, when you really need to dig more into the deck to see a tuner or to see another Therion name. Also really underrated. Game 1, this card gains you valuable info. If you go because they get more the opponent, if they see calamities, they will scoop and not give away what deck they're playing. But if you do that on your own turn, chances are you will see an Asuna, an Aluber or something, and you have a better idea of what they're on, making siding for game 2 that much easier. As we have Zeus, didn't came up, but the more you play this deck, the more obvious this card will seem as a choice. It helps clear boards. And yeah, he helps clear boards and maybe be one more piece of disruption. For the links, we have Fibrax, main part of the combo, summons Formula Synchron, summons Jet from the deck. Yep. On your own turn, you can just summon a Jet to go into enable link 3 plays, which is a unicorn. Spin a card and clear the board, or just go into it's a link 3 to go to an axe code, which just clears the board. And this combined with a Regulus, it's lethal. You have enough ways to lethal with this deck, and axe call is very valuable. Lastly, I'm not mentioning this as a synchro card because I simply put it there for the one game where it might be there for the time. It might go long enough, and I don't have a long one to rely on, or a Flanders spell to give me 600 life points. Just there to just in case. Never came up. Really glad it didn't, or otherwise it would be very very stressful. Lastly, we have a side deck. 3-draw helps very. Adventure is very relevant. Helps some Despia really good against Allure Despia builds. It's one of the more one hand drops that makes a lot of impact. If this card resolves, your opponent will have a really hard time playing through this. Then we have 3-20 Collector. I was very afraid of the social matchup, and I'm kinda glad I played this card. It came up on my second social game. It stopped my opponent from doing literally anything. And I might probably cut the card 2, or just switch out for Nibiru going forward in a more diverse format. But I don't regret it. Next we have 2 Dark No More. Really good card. I probably would have played 3, but I thought the droplet and this at 5 copies are enough to deal with boards. And this spell is a threat that is a card that people might side against you, so I wasn't very reliant on it. But it's very strong against adventure boards exactly, because they rely on activating in the main phase the Dagda line with Scythe and with Water Magician to pop it and essentially lock you out of their game. So it's really good when it drops, and it's also a really big threat to my own deck but I do have a way to play around this in my side deck. So you have to Light the Storm. I just thought this card was very impactful. It isn't as impressive. As it might look. It's good. It's good enough. Better against back row decks than combo, honestly. But you can play without it. Let's have Twin Twisters. Really good card. Plays around Anti-Spell to an extent. Puts in Therion name in the graveyard. Just kills two back row. Yeah, it's my anti-back row deck of choice. Lastly, we have a reboot. It's the most efficient way to dealing with trap cards, honestly. The barrier isn't that good against you because you don't rely on one summon mechanic from the extra deck. But having this shut down any trap, it's really useful. Lastly, we have Therion Setup. Shout out to Quandal, who played this deck in a CSM on top of it, and I saw this card. This card in combination with, let me find it. This little guy right here helps you play through almost any card and any disruption your opponent might have on their own turn, like Dark No More or Droplets. All you do is either activate this banish card from your graveyard when they active as chain link to Dark Ruler, or just activate it from as set from your spell trap zone. And then this works because it is not a monster effect that is chained to Black Ruler. It's a trap. Thus, enable you to react to your own selling to your own trap with Hot Red, targeting and negating the Dark Ruler No More, and enabling you to access your FTK combo.
And the name of that one is Therion Stand Up, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm sitting down right now, but
sick tech.
Yeah.
We got jokes.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about?
That was a bit long.
No worries. So I love it. This is more in depth. I love all the tech and explanations of what all these do and why they're good. It's great. Do you want to do a quick overview of your matchups before we end it?
Yeah. So it was. The tournament was 8 rounds, around 200 people, 199 to be exact. I managed to get in top cut with a X2 record, 6 to be exact, and I lost to top 16. My matchup were round 1 against Despia. The matchup wasn't very memorable, but I remember having a bit of suboptimal hands, both me and my opponent, so I managed to kind of grind through it and gain the victory. Not the best Yugioh of my deck, but it was good enough. Round 2, I played against Brave Cold Talker. Essentially, it was Brave Adventurer with Hitchell. I remember breathing very hard on game 1, thus making me unable to play. But I managed to clutch game 2 and 3, probably through grind game 3, because the brave decks don't really have a good turn 3 onwards if you manage to crack the board. Round 3, I played against Sawad. That was kind of memorable match. It reminded me for the rest of the tournament to always remember to declare my max code effect. I forgot to activate the effect to gain attack. I didn't have enough attack for lethal. I lost that game. But it didn't matter. I won the next 2. Shout out to a very unique interaction that Pips, my friend Pips told me, that revolves around Draw a Lockbird and Droplet. I don't have it on me, but the reaction is simple. When you add a card from your deck to the hand, like with Therion Discolosseum, for example, let's add the Regulus. As a turn player, I have quick effect priority I have quick effect priority before my opponent activates Draw Lockbird. So, since I already wanted to send the card I added from my hand to the graveyard, with droplets to negate my opponent's board. Before they activate droplets, I activate droll. I chain my droplets, setting the for example Regulus to the graveyard to negate to negate their monster. I think it was a Baguska, not sure. Thus, because I sent a monster, the opponent cannot respond to the same chain with a droll or anything else. Thus allowed me to continue to do one more time under draw. It is not. It doesn't come very often, but if your hand loses to draw, you might want to keep it in mind, because you are not losing anything if the card you want to add is the one you sent. Anyway, so it's just something that may save you, may not. It's really, it doesn't come up that often, but it may. It's
Yeah,
also
definitely good to know.
it's also a neat ruling, honestly. Next I played against Sorchel. Played against the person who went 8-0, 8-0 on Swiss. As much as that was a very fast 2-0 on my part, I lost a die roll. I couldn't really play the turn 1 or turn 2. They helped me carry my tiebreakers, and they helped me make top cut. So kinda thankful to them. Round 5, guessing Sorchel again. Really good player, but as I remember losing a die roll on game 1, and thus losing the game because my Sorchel matchup isn't the greatest. But on game 2, I went first. I had my full combo. I had Collector in my graveyard. They couldn't play through it. Game 3, I drew Collector. Again, they couldn't play around it. So, and I won the game. Round 6, I played against Salad. Really funny story. I played against them. I rolled the dice. I won the die roll. I opened a good hand, but there was a Reaper. After the Reaper, I paired against the same person. I win the die roll again, and I win the game 1 again. I lose game 2. I don't remember if it was exactly my fault or if I just it was out of my control, but I lost it. Game 3, I drew a really bad hand, and it was honestly unplayable. The only thing that I remember I was having is Driver with Gamma in my hand. They went through and Transcode Reborn update Jammer line. I tried to Gamma it. They asked, and that was enough to lethal me. I couldn't do anything. Then I played against another Salad. I think I got a bit lucky when on the turn, because I think one Nash on the circle was enough to stop them, enabling me giving me another turn, and thus a chance to OTK them. That was a simple victory. And lastly, I played against round 8 against Despia. This deck is a really good matchup against Despia because of Calamities and Psychic and Punisher. But the only thing I wanna mention is the interaction between Dark Rule No More, Hot Red, and the Traps Therion Startup. So here's the situation. It's game 3. I have my full board, and my opponent has Dark Rule No More. I have Therion Startup in my graveyard, and a Therion I can activate it to equip a Therion from my graveyard to a Therion I control. I activate Dark Rule No More. I activate stand up, and they had a red reboot. But red reboot cannot be chained to trap effects. It can only be activated to trap activations. So they could not chain to stand up, and I thus was able to chain with Hot Red to the Dark Ruler, and thus making Calamities and essentially winning me the game, and allowing me to get top cut. Top cut I faced against a really good player, honestly much better player than me. I think his name was Marcello Barberi. He was on Despia, and I won the title. I won game one. Although I kind of played into Super Poly by having a vampire, a zombie vampire, and a hot red on my field, thus allow him to make Saving Venom, which was kind of difficult to deal with, but I managed to win it. Game two, I kind of sided badly. I couldn't play through the board, even though I drew Droplet and Lightning Storm and Twisters. Just not enough. Probably that could have served me better than Storm in that game. And game three, they bricked, but I played really hard to Nibiru. I lost all my resources, and they managed to just beat him to death with an Nibiru and edge him chain. That's made me lose right there then. Overall, it was a very it was a tough climb to get the top. But I'm really proud of I managed to do it. I like this deck. I think I could have played it better. I think I could have made better decisions. There were there are some deck changes I might make moving forward, but the deck is still in development. It's still very new, but it was a good time, and I couldn't be happier with it.
Sick. Yeah, no. Congratulations on your top cut. The deck seems crazy. Lots of potential for growth. The deck is already doing numbers. I mean, being almost at tier 2 represented with all the other decks at the top cut is incredible feat. You should be proud. Thank you so much for joining me and explaining this deck through and through.
I really hope I got my I got the I got through to the viewers what the deck is able to do and why it should never be underestimated.
Agreed. Well, thank you all so much for watching. See you later.